Folks, if we can just get you to sit down, this is just a public announcement before we start. We are going to go live for various forms of media, and they did want me to remind you that it will pick up background noise. We're less concerned about the noise and more concerned if you're sharing the deepest secrets, it will no longer be secrets. So we'll give it about 2 minutes just to kind of prepare, or a minute maybe if you want, but just wanted you to be aware that that will be occurring. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to be the first to welcome you to the Cochise College Early College Building. And we'll explain a little bit what that is as we move forward. But I first wanted to just, first of all, welcome so many community leaders, education leaders, as we roll out some new and exciting initiatives here at Cochise College. Cochise College has been serving the Cochise County communities for the last 58 years. And we've worked extremely hard to provide meaningful opportunities for people to continue their education, as well as find meaningful careers or university transfer. During those 58 years, we have tried to be your community college with community as our middle name. And so we've tried to put our entire focus on trying to serve the community. The college has been recognized during those 58 years as being really one of the premier colleges in the country. And when we're compared with other community colleges, we always come out really, really good. But in the last 5 years, we started to take a slightly different analysis and started to look more at countywide metrics. And so I want to share just a couple of those countywide metrics, which is what leads us to today. So over the past 5 years, as we've looked at the college, if the college is doing so great, then our county should be doing great. And we are in many ways, but there are many places where we know we can improve. And one of those deals with these 5 metrics that you can find out on the website from the Arizona that we want. And they tie to some key things that community colleges really need to center on. And let me point out that first one, which is 43%. 43% of Cochise County residents hold an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, or an industry recognized certification. Now, 43% sounds okay, but it's far from where we need to be. Most experts say we should be in the 60% range. And so the college has been working diligently to try to improve educational attainment in our county. And then we talk about some places where we can see that, which moves to the next one, post-high school attainment. So this is students who graduate from a Cochise County high school and then matriculate to something in higher education, whether that be at Cochise College, the University of Arizona, wherever that may be around the world. Only 53% in 2018 were doing something the semester after they graduated. Coming out of COVID, the most recent numbers, that's now 51.5%. So the question is, what are the other 49% doing? What are they doing to engage in the new economy? We want to roll out an initiative that will hopefully address that number. The last one is opportunity youth. Currently in Cochise County, 14% of youth between the ages of 16 and 24 are not in school and not working. Now, 14%, that's only just shy of 2,000 Cochise County residents. That's a group we need to impact. That's a group we need to begin to influence and try to provide services for so that they can be successful in the new economy. To address that, the Cochise College staff and leadership and the governing board initiated some new strategic plans. And I know this is very small and maybe hard to read, but I want to address a couple things so that you as our community leaders understand what we're trying to do, which will lead us into our announcement today. So we're talking about assessing and modifying as needed all of our academic programs, some of those to address the reskilling and renewal network that's been provided by the state of Arizona. we know that we need to take individuals who are currently working, who need to upskill or reskill to succeed in the ever-changing economy. And we are working with leaders from the city, thank you, Mayor Mueller, as well as the Arizona Commerce Authority and others, to try to create a workforce accelerator that will provide opportunities for transitioning soldiers as well as civilians to upskill their education by coming into a 6-month intensive program, a workforce accelerator, if you will, that will give them the skill sets to move forward. The other area that the college needs to look at is in micro-credentials, credit for prior learning. We need to look at stackable degrees that allows people to build upon those things that are necessary. Another area you'll see is integrated educational training. These IETs are a way to address another population that Cochise College is interested in addressing, and that is adults in Cochise County who do not have a high school equivalency. Currently in Cochise County, between the ages for 18 and older that do not have a high school equivalency is nearly 12,000 individuals. How do we grab these individuals and help provide them the training necessary to succeed? And we'll be doing some things in our adult education program under the leadership of Peter Hooper, who I know is here, as we're going to try to impact that group of well. But last but not least is really the last one, which brings us to this today, which is to find additional pathways that will lead high school students into meaningful careers and continuing education. And so today we want to roll out for you the new Cochise College Early College Initiative. As I mentioned, this facility will now be part of our Early College Initiative, which will really take on a number of different things. One, the college continues to provide youth summer camps. This year, we're doing a number of things in STEM-related fields, anywhere from freshwater ecology to computers to farm camp for those that are interested in becoming working in lots of different areas across there. There'll be things in life-saving and CPR, allied health, and I know we have a number of our deans here, so programs that will lead to a CNA, an LPN, an EMT, perhaps even a paramedic certificate at some point. We've got to find ways to inform our student body, our younger student body, at a much earlier age. Now the question, why do we do that? We've got to find ways to on-ramp people. We've got to on-ramp them into the pathways so that they can be successful. We believe we can do that through an early college initiative that is tied closely to our career and technical education, because we know the career and technical education opportunities gives the why to learning. So many of our students at times will struggle with, why am I taking this class? If we can get them in some career and technical education, whether that be welding, automotive, cybersecurity, nursing and allied health, whatever that field may be, culinary arts, we can utilize that coursework to provide them the why. This will allow us to fulfill our lofty mission of impacting the communities we serve. And so this early college initiative will tie together all of our new initiatives that the board recently approved, which is a revamping of all of our dual credit. So today, a student who's in one of our public high schools can have an opportunity to take dual credit courses at the high school at a new and reduced rate as we try to expand that group. Also, we're trying to bring some of the high schools onto our campuses on the weekends to give them an opportunity for career and technical education. But today, we want to introduce really the linchpin of all of our early college, which is to introduce to you ALA Virtual at Cochise College. ALA Virtual is a Arizona recognized charter school. They are a virtual school, but the part that's the most exciting for me about that is they tend to be more of a hybrid school, which means they will provide on-site learning as well as the virtual component. The college will be hosting them on our campus in this very facility as they will establish a learning center. Now, the exciting part of this partnership is those students enrolled in the American Leadership Academy Virtual at Cochise College will then be eligible to take any class in the Cochise College curriculum free of charge to their parents. The ALA Virtual will pay the cost of tuition and the course fee for those students who are successful in the completion of those courses. So what does that mean? That barrier that has historically existed between K-12 and higher education will completely go away. So they will have access to this facility as their learning center to be able to take their courses in person, virtually, and have all of the resources of the American Leadership Academy, and at the same time be able to, as their course becomes available, to walk to whatever that course may be in whatever field, whether that be art all the way to welding. All of those programs, by working with ALA Leadership, will be able to count towards their high school diploma. So what's the goal of this? The goal is that students will leave with their high school diploma with a minimum of a certificate and perhaps all the way to an associate's degree. We'll remove the barriers and try to impact those numbers. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce Dr. Jeremy Brewer, who is the director of ALA Virtual, and he will talk a little bit about this exciting initiative from their side. And then we will open it up to you, our community, to ask whatever questions you may have, because we know the best way to get the word out and the best way to do something new and innovative is to take questions from those that it will impact the most. So Jeremy, please.
Oh. I think they're clapping for JD. I told him if the college presidency doesn't work out, he'd be a great radio host because I could listen to him talk all day long. We are very excited to have formed this partnership with Cochise College. There are a couple of reasons for that. So first, personally, I live in a town of population 789 people. The town that I live in has 789 people. And I know probably 45 to 50% of the youth in that town. And they are not in school. And yet they are working day in and day out in good jobs that if they could get certificates or credentials in a non-traditional high school way, they will have a very different future. And so for us, for me, this is personal, right? we want students to be able to achieve higher education that is reasonable and that makes sense for them. So it's very personal for them, but it's also relevant for them. The second reason is ALA Virtual is very flexible. We're new. We have about 1,000 students in our school across the state. And we have been looking for about a year to partner with strong leadership in the state, and we found that here at Cochise so that we can expand our reach to these types of students. And we know that sometimes finance is a barrier, and we want to take that part and take it on. We want students to succeed. So as JD was saying, we will cover the cost of tuition and fees for the courses that students successfully complete. Successfully, the detail there is they got to pass the class, right? And we're not sure that D's get degrees there, but we'll make that more clear. We want students to successfully pass classes. So we have, throughout the state of Arizona, ALA has 15 campuses, 15 schools. We are one of them. Our campus lives up in the air. And so what we have built are small learning centers, just like this room, where students can come and they receive that individual, personalized, in-person education, tutoring, teaching, social interaction with other students who are in that same cohort, or they're at home doing their work online and they have amazing teachers. So what I have learned in my career is that teachers make the difference. They just do. So I put my own kids in ALA Virtual after having homeschooled them for their entire lives. So 12 and 10, that's not very long. But as my family and I lived overseas and built a company, an education company, we have realized how vital teachers are. And so at ALA Virtual, we have the very best teachers that I know. And I know that because I work with them and my children are in their classes. So here at this college, we will serve the 9th through 12th grade students. They will show up here. They will come to class here. They can get dropped off and grab a bus and go home. Half a mile down the road, we have a second learning center campus, okay? That is for the K-12. Those are for students who don't want to do early college. These students here are focused on 9th through 12th grade. I want to get certificates. I want to get my associates. I want to have an early college path. That's the student body we're serving here. So from our little town that I live in to the thriving metropolis of Sierra Vista, which seems humongous when I come here, they're not different. They're still 9th through 12th grade students who just need to figure out, how do I get to where I want to go? So we're excited to be here. You'll probably have technical questions that I won't be able to answer, but Laura Richens, she knows everything. She has been there since day one of ALA in the state. She has worked in every part of the company and every part of the schools that we know of. And so she can answer some of those more technical questions. But the vision is to have a partnership that we can expand not only here, but throughout the state with this amazing institution, Cochise College. We respect you. We're so excited to be here. So thank you for the invitation, and we'll talk with you later.
So before we open up, let me just address why ALA Virtual. And you heard Jeremy talk about that it's a hybrid. The one thing we've learned over the last 2 years of COVID and pandemics is everything needs to be done differently. And we think a hybrid model provides the best of all learning opportunities for students. And so for them to have the ability to come to a place such as this as a learning center, to become their home base, if you will, with all the support services there, and then as they transition and begin to take college classes, to know they have the full support of everything at the college. One of the reasons why we want to do this is this really maximizes the efficiency. The college has amazing CTE programs. We have facilities, we have staffing, we have technology, we have curriculum. All of those resources we need to make available to all populations. And we think through this partnership, every student in Cochise County can have access to a career-driven education that will lead them to success in the new economy. And so with that, I'm happy to address, you've got a team of both on the student services side as well as the leadership side. We will answer any questions any of you may have. There is a mic prepared. I know this puts everybody on the spot, but we would be happy to address questions. This includes from people from Cochise College, who they may be in leadership positions, but this may be the first they've heard of this initiative. On, if you'll come to the microphone, that'd be great. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anna Smith, and I'm a program coordinator for the Center for Lifelong Learning here at Cochise College, but I'm asking a question as a very interested community member so I can spread the word to the community. So for clarification, there will be a campus here, you said nearby, K through 12, correct? In-person instruction. And then will the center provide services for the kids who will be attending online or to also the in-person campus?
Does this mic work? Yes, it does. All right. Yeah, so we started in Sierra Vista this year in January. And we've grown, and so now we have a new location that is it's 0.47 miles up the road. It's on Enterprise Way. It used to be a teleperformance call center right next to the North Grumman, yeah. So it's safe. It's a safe place. We've been assured of that. That building is about 18,000 square feet that we will be using for our K through 12 grade students. They will show up there. They will have in-person teachers. They do not have to show up. They are still virtual students. They can go ride the rodeos for 6 months and be online with us, and they do not have to physically show up. They can, and if they do, they will have an in-person instructor, teacher, to provide learning and education. So that's that building. If the students are interested in taking college classes, this is their learning center. So instead of calling it a campus, we just call them learning centers. And so if I'm a 9th through 12th grader and I want to take Cochise College classes, I would come here. I can still go on the rodeo and be gone for 6 months out of the year, but then I have to think about which classes I enroll in at the college. Some of them can be virtual, some of them might be in person. And so let me give you a case study. I have a daughter. She'll be a 9th grader. She may take one Cochise College class and the rest of her high school classes in this room. So this is the room we intend to use. So we will not have students going back and forth between these buildings. If you take early college courses, you come here, this is your home base. If you do not take advantage of this opportunity, you go to the other building. We did that to maximize for safety and to ensure that we have the right students in the right place taking the classes that they want to take. So hopefully that clarified for you.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let me add just one piece that I think is, as Jeremy talked about, is really key. So some students, because this is 9th through 12, we would expect that there will be many students in the 9th grade, 10th grade level, that the vast majority of their classes will be traditional high school classes taken in this facility. But as they become juniors and seniors and are prepared for those areas, it's likely that the vast majority of their classes would be Cochise College classes. Now, there may be a freshman who's ready to take a class in art or a class in welding, or maybe they're advanced and ready to take calculus. All of those opportunities are available to them as they are prepared. But you might be a student interested in the ALA at Cochise College, the early college model, and as a freshman, you may not even take a college class because you may not be prepared, but you're working your way towards that.
Will ALA cover the cost of college classes, even if they're like evening college classes and not just during the traditional school day?
That's a great question that I'm sure JD will give an excellent answer on. We talked about this specifically, and you can correct me, but our primary goal is for students to take classes in the day. If they're in the early college program, we want them here during the day for a plethora of reasons. We're pretty flexible and we can find solutions at ALA Virtual, but our preference, our strong recommendation is that they take classes during the day.
And I would concur, but the answer is yes. Yeah. But they will need to work with ALA. There may be some specific coursework that is really only offered in the evening. Some of the things we do in some of our nursing programs, in some of our welding programs, some of the specialty courses may be in the late afternoon, early evening, but all that needs to be coordinated through their site coordinator who will be at this facility. The key part is ALA knows who's going to class when, and the college then can provide those services. I will also mention that as we began to prepare for this initiative, we have done a ton of research, and we know there are already hundreds of students between the age of 14 and 18 who are currently high school age students who are taking any number of courses at the college. Some of those students are homeschooled students. Some of those are students enrolled in a regular district or a charter school or just choosing to take a college course to fulfill some requirement. This is going to really provide an added benefit as they can be tied to a charter school that will provide them really the funding to partake of those classes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Summer Hum. I'm a reporter with the Herald Review. My question is, will ALA provide any transportation services to the students going from either location, whether it's here at the college campus or on Enterprise Way? And if so, which company will be providing that service?
want me to take that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so our primary objective is to not have students transferring between this campus and our K-12, this learning center and our K-12 learning center. So if a student is enrolled in a learning set, in the early college pathway, they will come here. And then they would take their algebra or their English 9 or whatever other high school classes would be conducted here. That's between the ALAs, virtuals. Regarding the 2 Sierra Vista campuses, there are 2 answers to that. 1, parents or self-transportation, or 2, the public transportation. And maybe JD could speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, one of the reasons we wanted this facility that you're currently sitting in, if you look right out here, you will see the bus stop for the City of Sierra Vista Transit. And so we will work closely with the city, and parents can utilize either a drop-off of their own children, or they can access any of the public transportation that the City of Sierra Vista provides. We think this is a value-added opportunity, and we know that students can go between the 2 college campuses, but should parents need transportation, there is a mechanism of that through the City of Sierra Vista.
Good afternoon. My name is James Perry, and I'm here today attending as an interested parent. The question I have is understanding the quality programming that Cochise College offers to students. Can you talk a little bit about those student services pieces, meaning that it's not just enough that my child or my children get a quality education, but there's also things in place to ensure they're successful, and then even moving on from a 2-year institution to a 4-year institution.
So let's actually start with ALA so you can get an understanding of the support services coming through the high school component, and then we can address it as it relates to the college.
So the first thing that we have done at the high school level is I have looked at the Cochise catalog to ensure that we have courses that are mapped to high school graduation requirements. So we have a partnership between Cochise and American Leadership Academy Virtual to ensure that as students are enrolling in their courses, they are meeting the high school graduation requirements. So any of the courses that you are taking at Cochise are also counting towards high school graduation requirements. So that's the first step, is making sure that the classes that you are selecting at Cochise are counting towards your high school graduation requirements first. So we want to meet that goal. Not only that high school graduation requirement, but also your post-graduation goals. So that's the first step as far as the high school student services side. And then we are also partnering with the Cochise Student Services because students do have access to the student services at the college level as well. So now I'll send it over to you guys.
And I'll take lead on this. So my name is Dana Horn. I'm the Executive Dean of Student Services here at the college. And working with ALA, we will have an assigned academic advisor, and she couldn't be here today, but our director, Nanette Romo, from the Counseling and Advising Office is here today. And so she can answer any specific advising questions. But our academic advisor, Claire, will be working very closely with ALA. So once ALA says, hey, we have a student who is ready to go, wants to take some college courses, Claire will work with that student to identify what course, timing, sequencing, things like that. As well as if you look behind us, we have a mustard colored building. That is our tutoring center, as one of our learning centers here. And so any college course that they take, they will be able to take any tutoring that is free of charge. They have both in-person and then virtual tutoring services to any student who needs it for their college level courses. As well as then we have other activities that students can participate. So those are some of the student services we can offer to any student who enrolls in ALA.
I would just say, James, one of the unique things about this partnership is you get the best of 2 worlds. So if you're taking your high school courses through ALA Virtual, that student will have access to all of their student services at the high school. The minute that student enrolls for a Cochise College class, they will be considered a Cochise College student. Access to all the student services we provide, from counseling and advising to tutoring to library services, all of those services instantly become available for those that are enrolled within there. So a student in theory could have double the advising staff if they're taking things both at the high school and at the college level.
Yeah, I would just add, I spent most of my career in the university setting, right? So the last 5 years as a visiting professor in the business school at Cornell, I've learned something. And I mention that because they are really the pioneers, in my opinion, of this hybrid online / in-person learning style. COVID pushed everybody into a direction that nobody really loved, and it was hard. But this is not a COVID response. We didn't create ALA Virtual because of COVID. We knew we wanted to go down the direction that universities are going. And so I would add that one thing that this allows is for a young student to quickly adapt to this new system of hybrid learning. All of our students took some portion of their university classes online. I can't think of a single one of our students who has not. And so helping 9th through 12th graders learn that skill of independent, asynchronous, maybe not sitting there every single day with the professor, learning the skill of going online, understanding the homework, working independently, collaborating with their cohort virtually, I think is another component that this will help young students acquire as they move up their grades in high school and then junior college and college. I'm a product of a junior college. Both my wife and I went to a junior college before we went on to our other degrees. And I think that this is, for lack of any other word, I think this is just really cool, right? Like, I think this is a special and really cool thing to offer 9th through 12th graders in the community to be able to find a path that fits them, because not everybody is that same path. And seeing the numbers that JD put up there, there are a lot of people who will benefit from this, and those are the people we're looking for. And that's why we did not just do our K-12 across the street. It's why we came here specifically for the early college initiative, because we can see the need, and the Cochise team is incredible. These are real leaders. From JD, I mean, everybody here is really focused on how do we help the community get stronger? How do we retain talent? How do we get them trained and skilled up or leveled up, as JD was saying? So I just wanted to add to your question of, we help them by introducing them early on what they will experience undoubtedly in the next 10 years as they go to college.
I'll just say I was visiting with Deputy Chief Deaver from the Sierra Vista Fire Department about staffing at their place and the challenges that all of us are having. And the question we realize is we've got to find a way to grow our own, if you will. This is a unique opportunity where we could have a student come in who was very interested in becoming a firefighter or an EMT or a paramedic, and could begin their study while they were going through their high school experience and prepare themselves for as soon as when they turn 18, now they can begin their firefighting courses. And so it's really ways to build upon. Now, that's just one of those examples. We could talk about other things in automotive. We could talk about them in cybersecurity. We could take a student who's interested in computers, apply the college cybersecurity program towards their high school diploma. Perhaps a student could leave with a full Associate of Applied Science in cybersecurity. They graduate from Cochise College literally 2 weeks before they graduate from ALA Virtual. They're then ready to transition at the University of Arizona College of Applied Science and Technology or any other university that they may be interested in. All of those opportunities that our college students currently enjoy can now be available to a high school student as they're transitioning through. This program may not be for everybody, but if a student is prepared, knows where they want to go, and want to begin to utilize the resources of the college to speed up, to put it in an early college format, this may be the program for them.
Sit next to me. we run into each other all the time. Hi, I'm Jennifer Sorensen. I'm the publisher at Herald Review, but I have a couple questions more as a parent. For ALA, how do you work with children that are maybe transitioning from public school district that have an IEP or are on the spectrum and helping them attain success and hopefully graduating with an associate's degree for a career?
Excuse me. Well, just as an IEP says, it is an individualized education plan, and we do have a full team, a full special education team that evaluates those individually so that we can meet the needs of those students where they are. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean, we have students transition every day with IEPs.
We have many students if you look at our 1,000 students across the spectrum, or across the board of all of our students, we naturally, or there's a very specific type of student that is drawn to a virtual setting. Some of them are on the spectrum of autism, and they just don't do well in social settings. But they're your best students online. They show up, they do their work, they ask questions, and we work with them. And a lot of our students need a little different approach than what they would get sitting in a regular traditional K-12 setting, right? And so, like, as I said before, our teachers are remarkable. We just have very good teachers, and I've come to find this last year that that's hard to find. Finding really good teachers is tough. And I believe and I see we have at the virtual campus, we have really good-hearted people, but also technically well-trained people who are teaching. And so they are trained on how to deal with the IEPs and the 504s and work with parents. There's a lot of communication. And so as they transition over to us, sometimes parents think, well, this is not a real school. You know, this is like an online thing. And I don't know how to say that we're as real as you get. We're really real, and we're really good. We are striving to be as good as we can. And so, yeah, we have the resources to help those students as they transition. And I think while we're online, we're still very much connected with our student base.
Hi, I'm Melanie Edwards-Barton. I'm the CEO at the Sierra Vista Area Chamber of Commerce. And so from that perspective, I am curious about internships.
So thank you, Melanie. That's actually, so as we talk about the things that work in an early college model, that's the part that we now need to work closely with, is internships that will add that extra why I'm studying. And the college will continue to work through the way we do with many of our other academic programs to see if we can find opportunities for internships, job shadowing, those types of opportunities. We do some of those things now. We know we need to do more. We're going to see that become even more prevalent as we roll out some of our things for adult education learners and part of our IETs. And so we'll combine that in there. We just need to find opportunities for people to have that type of workplace experience so that they can truly understand the why.
Yeah, I would add to that. Sorry, what was your name again?
I'm Melanie.
Melanie, great question. I would add, this is where ALA Virtual will actually be able to add significant value in a very quick way. We have a lot of flexibility at the virtual campus. We are allowed to work with students in non-traditional ways. And I was talking with Laura on the way here, and we want as many apprenticeships and internships as we possibly can give our students. And we can find a way to help those students get credits that they need to solve those problems. When I'm way out in the middle of Dudleyville, which is where we live, and I need a welder to weld my fences because my stinking cows keep pushing through the fence lines, it's very easy to call up a local person and say, who do you know who welds? And then Johnny shows up and says, well, I kind of know how to weld. But it's different to find somebody who's actually been trained for a significant period of time through an apprenticeship, who's certified, who I have to spend actual hard-earned dollars to pay to fix my fence and know that he's going to fix it right. Same thing with tractors. So when we live in these rural communities, finding well-trained people, the best way for them to get that is through apprenticeships. And so we will offer as many as we possibly can, and we're very flexible with those. Is that fair?
We would
Yes.
love to talk more about that. I know we have a lot of businesses out there very interested in having some interns.
Bring it on.
Absolutely. Question from the grandma side of me. I have a granddaughter that could transition into this program in 2 years. So the grandma side of me says, what about security and supervision?
So when transitioning, once she's here as a freshman? So clearly the college has chosen this site specifically, recognizing that it's by the administration, has an easy drop off. Security will always be an issue. They're coming onto a college campus. This facility has a check-in place where I'm assuming ALA will utilize somebody to check students in. We will know where they are, but you are coming on a college campus. But I will also say we've had 13 to 18-year-olds on this campus all the time. We believe we have a very safe campus. You can go and look and find all those statistics, but we would want parents to understand you are bringing your child to a college, and that with that comes some risks and some inherent things. We will do everything in our power to ensure that that individuals are safe. We have a full security system on our campus, security guards, and we will do with a simple call to security. We will have escorts. We can do all of those things that we currently do will be available to any student who's on campus.
That was one of our first questions, is the safety. I always think if my 13-year-old daughter showed up here, that would mean there's something about a 13-year-old who could go to a college level class. So that's one issue. The second is we do have our site coordinators. So we have Faith Deaver, we have Carly Danes who works with us, we have Jessica McCarty. I mean, we have a lot of people who will sit in this building and watch who comes in and who goes out because they are our students. They are not just Cochise College students, they are virtual students. And so we have an extra layer of responsibility to ensure that they're safe. And so we take that seriously.
Melanie, let me give you an example of the student who just spoke at our commencement. He came to us because he thought he wanted to take a welding class as a homeschooled student at probably the level of a sophomore in high school. He was homeschooled. Taking that one welding class got him to really be interested in welding as a career. And he thought he was going to become an aerospace welder for Boeing. And so he finished the aerospace welding certificate as well as a number of other certificates. And at that point, he got really kind of fired up about potentially continuing his education to get a 4-year degree in welding engineering. Now, who knows where he's going to go? The future's incredibly bright. But it started for him as a sophomore homeschooled student by taking one class. It gave him a whole new path and a whole new excitement. The other part we know is today, nobody's going to be set in the same career for their entire lifetime. People are going to change. Lifelong learning is now a reality. People are going to have to reskill, upskill, change their skills to be able to succeed. What better time to start than when they're in a high school experience? We believe this is a great way to provide career exploration that leads towards graduation. We've had a number of students who have graduated with an associate's degree from Cochise College the week before they completed their high school diploma. This is going to more formalize that and give them the opportunity for those students. Now, do I think every student's going to leave with an associate's degree? Probably not. But there's no reason why they can't leave with a certificate in one of our career and technical education areas, or the AGEC, the Arizona General Education Certificate, which would then prepare them of fulfilling all of the gen ed requirements for any of the 3 Regents universities.
Alrighty, I have 2 quick questions. So firstly, for ALA, what particular equipment and resources will you have housed within this learning center, i.e. computers, tutors, etc.? And what is the budget for those materials and equipment?
Computers and tutors. So we will have a site coordinator here on this location, as well as computers and tutors. As far as budget, I don't know.
Okay, and my second question, when can the community expect to see this facility open?
Well, with this public announcement, we are hoping that the enrollments will be significant. The facility is ready to transition into that. We have signed a contract that's in there. We're just waiting to see when that goes. I would think we'd be prepared as soon as there are, I think ALA begins on August 8th. Is that right? So clearly there'll be some preparatory work. I have shared with Dr. Brewer and his team that I'll make office space available for their site coordinator tomorrow if they would like that.
And what is the max enrollment level of students for this learning center here at Cochise College?
Where's the fire deputy? What's our maximum allowable here? Do you just know that right off the top of your head? Oh, sorry. You know, it's a fair question, and we'll know when we get there, but we don't have real caps. We've thought about maybe 50 for this first semester to see maybe 75, because we know the demand is going to be extreme. We expect that. We're anticipating that. And so that's what we're thinking. But if we need to get more space, then we'll talk with the college and get more space. So
Thank you.
I think it's important to realize that once in this program, not all of those students may be in the Learning Center at the same time. When it's fully operational, I would hope that half of those students are participating in their welding class, their English 101, their art history class, their ceramics class, their psychology class, their nursing class, their criminal justice class, whatever that may be, that they are participating in those key things. And so I think a part to add on, and maybe I'll ask the question of the ALA virtual team, is can a student transition in who may be currently a to-be senior at one of our local schools? Can they come as a senior, or do they have to come in as a freshman?
enrolled, they're ready. Freshmen through go ahead, Laura.
They may absolutely come in as a senior because you, Dr. Roeiler, have amazing certificates that could be completed as a senior.
So really the transition thing is any student who's interested in a program like this, whether they be a freshman or a to-be senior, can enroll at ALA Virtual and have the full access to the college curriculum under the direction of ALA Virtual, that's then making sure that that helps them complete their high school diploma. Remember, part of what we're trying to do is ensure that we reduce the dropout rate. We give students an opportunity to succeed. We're talking about a different population that may be interested in some of our career and technical fields. This is an opportunity to really bring the best resources of an Arizona charter school and an Arizona community college.
So if you have a child that's interested to enroll, where can a parent see the actual curriculum for the K through 12? And then as my kids get older, the 9 through 12 for this learning center?
Great question. All of the curriculum for American Leadership Academy can be seen at alaschools.org, and enrolling at ALA Virtual can also be done at alaschools.org. And this Learning Center curriculum, the ALA curriculum, is the same. And then the Cochise College curriculum can be seen on the Cochise College website.
Course catalog.
Their course catalog is on their website.
Yes.
This is what happens when I wear shoes. I'm just not quite as fast. Jay Strain, I serve on the Cochise Community College Governing Board as a small trustee. As JD knows, this whole discussion started originally with that 14%, the disenfranchised youth. So one of my personal goals is to empty out Sheriff Mark Daniels' Juvenile Delinquency Center. So JD, what mechanisms are we using to get to that specific 2,000 or so folks in Cochise County?
So thank you, Mrs. Strain. I'm not sure this specific program is going to address those that are already in that opportunity youth category. There may be some that are in there early. My hope is that this program is going to alleviate the growth of that population, that we'll see a decrease in the number of students who are transitioning out of, I'll just say, a traditional K-12 experience. So part of the reason I wanted to mention a little bit about those without a high school equivalency, some of those are the same students. And so we're going to try to address those students through some different ways. Some students may transition out of a traditional school setting and choose to go after their GED, which then they end up in Cochise College's adult education program. We're doing the same thing by tying in IETs, really the same career technical, as they're completing their equivalency. For some parents and some students who may be struggling in their current environment and want more of a hands-on vocational opportunity, our partnership with ALA Virtual can really create a vocational high school, if you will. That student will be able to pattern their high school curriculum to get an Arizona high school diploma at the same time as getting a career and technical certificate through Cochise College. So really, this is a way to try to alleviate that growing population by getting them before they drop out.
Follow-up question. The children that will, or the students that will be going to school here, will they be able to go year-round?
Your name was Melanie. So Melanie, that was not a question that we practiced an answer for. I don't know how else to answer that. No. I think that the question is, can students go year-round? On the ALA virtual side, currently we run on the semester basis, and we also have summer school courses. And so I don't see any reason why a student could not either enroll in accelerated summer school classes with us, but, and I'm assuming that the college has summer courses as well. And so do I believe there exists a world where a student could be enrolled all year round? Absolutely. On our side, absolutely.
Melanie, I agree. That's an amazing question that we haven't really talked about. So that's why we wanted to do it this way, because we'll get those questions. Clearly, the college runs year-round. I think one of the challenges we're going to see as we come into the new era, I don't know why we continue to run schools on the agricultural model. It's what we do, though, so we'll continue to work under that model. But I would argue that with ALA's approval and that it met your high school graduation, I see no reason why a student couldn't sign up for a summer course in whatever field that may be.
So yes. How about that?
I'll just say, Melanie, and really this is for everybody, we're charting a new course, and they're going to take some new things that we're going to have to think through and work with. So I'll ask people to be patient with us, ask the questions so that our teams can work together. I think we can do just about anything if we're aware of what the issues are and given a chance to address those. The college is incredibly committed to this initiative from the board level down. We have got to do something to move the needle. We think this is an opportunity to move the needle for this specific population, and we're looking to address moving the needle in some other areas. But this, we think, is an exciting opportunity with some low-hanging fruit that we can see instant impact. Other questions? All right. We do want to thank you for your participation in this public announcement press release. We will stick around and answer any questions that individuals may have. I know there is some information put together. I'm looking that is, as you leave, there is a little packet that has some information on how to register, other questions, some frequently asked questions, and some of those things. But thank you so much for your participation. I will just say Cochise College is working really hard to fulfill its lofty mission of providing accessible and inclusive educational opportunities that lead really to four things: social responsibility, community engagement, lifelong learning, and meaningful careers. We think this program can make that happen. We appreciate your attendance today. Thank you.